sports fanatics. Welcome back to the Sports Fanatic Podcast. I am your host, Skylar, the Sports Fanatic. We are back here, episode number 6. The Ocho Corner begins. As I mentioned last week, it's going to be a jam-packed show full of so many things, topics, just a lot to get through. We're going to start by talking Phillies. We're going to dive into some OTAs and MiniCamps as the football season is heating up. We are then going to start the Ocho Corner, which I'm very excited to dive into and start. I've got a whole list of sports already ready to go for the next few episodes. Cannot wait. And then we'll tap into some sports news from around the world before we get out of here. As we always talk, though, we're going to start today with the Phillies, who, I got to say, kind of feels like we're righting the ship a little bit. It feels like things are starting to get back to Phillies baseball. Now, I'm going to cry consistency with this team all year long because we don't get enough of it. And if we would, the season wouldn't feel so up and down. But 4-3 since we last saw each other here on the show. Not bad. I mean, especially because it's 3 straight wins. So, I can't complain too much, to be honest with you. While we were recording the show, or while I was editing the show last week, they were in the process of another slug fest with the Pirates. Tough loss, 1-2 again. And I don't know what to say. For some reason, the Pirates have our number right now this year. Hopefully we don't see him again anymore, and then we don't got to deal with that anymore. So, hopefully that headache is out of the way. We moved into a series with the Cubs, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought going into this, with the way we've been playing lately, this was going to be another series loss. That's how I felt going into this. Turns out we pulled the series win 2-1. I can't be too upset about that. The Cubs are good. They are good. Tops in baseball right now in a bunch of things, a bunch of guys who are hot, and we managed to cool them off for at least 2 games, and that's all we needed. The offense didn't show up enough in game 2, but the offense is, again, we need consistency from it. Consistency. I'm going to shout it until my voice, can't work anymore. We started a series with the Blue Jays. Hot start. 8-0 win. A shutout. So happy to see that one. We get the win against them yesterday. As we're recording today, and as we'll be editing the show, they will be playing the 3rd game of that series. So next week we'll see how that one came out. But, I'm not mad. We're starting to look right in some areas, of course. Starting to look whatever we're going to look like in some other areas. But the boys are starting to pick it up a little bit here. And, I mean, guys, Alec Boehm has been a blessing of a turnaround. At the start of the season, I was shouting for this man to be traded. I wanted him off third base. I didn't know what the answer was, honestly. I didn't fully know what the Phillies could do there, but I wanted something else to happen. I should have listened. I should have believed in Rob Thompson, should have believed in the upper management team, Dave Dombrowski. I should have believed in what the analytics were saying. Just give him a little bit of time to settle in, and he'll get back to Alec Boehm. And he has. What a stud. Last 7 games, batting a .320. He's batting almost like a close to a 400 since May. It's like the middle of May. He is on fire, and I'm not mad. Not mad at all anymore. I want him everywhere. He could play third base or first base. I know he's done a little bit of that. He can do either one while Bryce is working on getting better. And what else can you say about the man right now? The guy I'm repping right here, Nick Castellanos, he's staying consistent. Not going to lie to you. Batting .227 over the last 7. I'm not fully upset. My Philly of the week that I've given for the last 2 weeks, Trey Turner. I got to address just something here real quick. The defense has got to get better. It's got to get better. I mean, he's like bottom of the league in defensive plays that he should be making. I thought that his defense wasn't going to be an issue. You know, his offense has been great. Great. He's staying consistent, hitting the ball. You know, the last 7, he's .273, staying in a 300 range for a while now. He's staying consistent offensively, but defensively, I got to see you start making some more plays. Or, I mean, I don't know what they do there. I wouldn't really know how to shuffle around that kind of rotation there, because, I mean, I love Edmundo Sosa, and I think that he could play great in shortstop, but what do you do then, Trey Turner? I don't think you really want him DHing, although, you know, especially because you don't want to put Schwarber in the field. We got a lot of fielders that can play out in the field, so I don't think Schwarber needs to go out there. He could stay DHing, doing what he's doing, being the Schwarberian, being the absolute stud that he is. I mean, he's having a tough start to June, which is not like him at all. Not like him at all. If you've watched him the past few seasons, you know June is his month. You know June is like, you don't pitch to this guy. You just don't. I mean, he's batting only a .95 the last 7, so he's not a little bit of a cold streak to start here, but he'll shake it off. I'm not worried. You know, he will find the groove again, you know. But the one guy I got to say, which is why I don't know what to do there in the middle, is Bryson Stott. His offense is just, I mean, he's getting some bad luck. Don't get me wrong. Some unfortunate pop-ups, you know, hitting into some really just unfortunate shifts. They got to figure out a way to get him right. I don't know whether it's more time in the cage before games. I don't know whether it's just some more time zoning in and zenning and getting ready to hit the ball. I'm not quite sure what he's got to do. His defense is still stellar. I mean, I still love him over there second base. So maybe swap him and Trey and let Trey do a little second and see if he can play as great shortstop as he's been second base. But I don't want to touch his defense is pretty good. It's pretty stellar. So I'm not going to be upset with the defense, but his offensive side of the ball, he's got to pick it up. He's got to. He was up in the leadoff spots when we could have some confidence in him. But right now, the confidence isn't there. So I do agree with dropping him further down the lineup. Got to address the one stud that I addressed earlier in the season, which was Max Kepler. This guy, I mean, he goes a little up and down. Honestly, he does. I feel like he's a little bit back and forth with stuff, but he's a stud. He's a stud. I mean, he's batting .235 in the last 7. That's awesome. That's what we love to see over the week. It's time, but I think he's starting to unlock himself a little more. Had a sweet home run the other day to help us win against the Blue Jays. So I think he's starting to find his groove. He's great in the field. I'm not fully worried about defense in the field. He don't miss very many balls, if any at all. So not worried about that. He's starting to unlock himself offensively. And I'm excited to see that. The other thing we got to throw here, because I've gone back and forth, and I got to hear your opinion. You know, I love to hear it. And gone back and forth with this multiple times, is in center field. All right, I guess I have to give in to allowing Brandon Marsh to play center field. I guess I have to. I have to give in. 615 in the last 7. The guy is on fire hitting the ball. He was what was he, 3 for 4 yesterday against the Blue Jays. The guy's on fire. I mean, he's just, you can't get him out right now. So I can't tell you to take him out of the lineup. I can't say get him off the field, because his defense needs to be a little better. There's a lot of balls I've seen the past few weeks where he's run them down and just not made the play. And I fully believe if Johan Rojas was out there, he makes the play. That's where I go back and forth. Rojas is a very cold hitter. Maybe, again, if he played more often, we could see what we saw at the beginning of the year where he was batting a 400. I don't expect him to stay at a 400 the whole season, but if he bats, between a 250 and a 300 and plays center field the way that he does, I love a Johan Rojas in center field. But again, Brandon Marsh, he wins. He won me over here. He comes back. He was looking a little rough, shakes it off, and I mean, he's on fire now. You can't get him out. He's not hitting homers. But again, I've said this before. I don't need homers all the time, guys. I don't. Small ball wins. That's how we beat the Blue Jays yesterday. Small ball, got the job done. What was it? Got 3 walks, 2 hit by pitches in 1 inning to score 2 runs. You score runs without even getting a hit. Small ball to victory, guys. That's all we need is wins. Wins are what matter the most, guys. That's what we're shooting for here. We need to stack them up and then, get a nice, comfortable spot in the playoff run so that you can bring all of these teams here to the bank, because you play so much better in the bank. And that's the key, I think, to this Phillies team's postseason success. They need to stay tops in the division so we get a top seed and we force teams to come to the bank. Because it's hard to come through the bank. It's hard to come through the Phillies when they're at home, surrounded by those fans. Everybody going crazy. Whether you're winning or losing. Everybody feeling the pressure. Both the Phillies and the away team. That's what we need. That's what we need going into this. Super excited. Wheels comes back. Thank goodness. The bullpen's been struggling. Wheels comes back in the first game against the Cubs, and he dominates. Dominates like we know Zach Wheeler does. He got his 1,000th strikeout. The man is great. He goes 6 innings. He only gives up 3 hits. 1 run, 7 strikeouts. 7. That 1 run he gave up was unfortunately a home run. But I'm not upset at all with Zach Wheeler. He comes back from having a baby, and he gets the job done, just like we knew he would. The bullpen behind him tried to blow it. They tried to lose it. They tried their best, because that was the bullpen tries their best to do that. These guys have got to get better. I love me Matt Strahm, but honestly, the last few outings, not very good. In this one, he gives up a home run. He tries real hard to blow it, trying to blow the game. Got a 9 ERA right now. I'm not very excited about Matt Strahm pitching the ball anymore. Orion Kirkland continues to dominate. If he continues to take steps forward, I think he should move into the closing role, because, the closing role right now is just kind of up in the air. And we've already cried about you old Jose Alvarado. So, I mean, I don't know what we do there closing pitching wise, but I think hopefully it will get sorted out. If Orion Kirkland continues to take steps forward, if he continues to hold his ERA below 2, I think he's the closer. I don't see why he does not take that role. There are plenty of times where he comes in the game and I get a little antsy, get a little scared because I'm like, man, I feel like he usually gives up at least 1 run, but he holds that ERA below 2, so I'm not going to be upset with him. He's performing fairly well, so I'm not going to be upset. But Wheels comes back. He gets the job done. The bullpen, again, it's got to start just getting right. Starting to get guys in the right places. Get Tanner Banks figured out where he's going to fit in. Get Strom to get right so that he can get back to being the guy who comes in. And I love his passion. Again, I will go back to it quick. I love his passion. How fired up he is when he doesn't do something right or when he does do something right. I love that. I love that in a player. I love to see his passion and his excitement no matter what is going on. While we're speaking of the bullpen, we're going to come to our Philly of the week because we're going to do a little dive in to our Philly of the week. He has to be, is Ranger Suarez. And I was demanding earlier in the year also that we figure out where to put this guy or how to move him around or he's got to get right. And here we go. He does. He gets it right. He comes out against the Blue Jays, game 1. Now, don't get me wrong. We absolutely exploded in the first inning of that game for 5 runs. So that's a great safety blanket to have to go out there and be Ranger Suarez. And he was. And he absolutely dominated this game. He shut out 7 shutout innings. He only gives up 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, walks only 1. He's back. He's back. I said that ever since his injury, he has to figure out how to get back to being the Ranger Suarez that he was before that injury. Because before the injury, he was on the path to a Cy Young. He was on the path to being the best pitcher in baseball. Now, it'll be hard for anybody to catch up to Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is the best pitcher in baseball. His work ethic, his numbers, unfortunately, he's only got like 4 or 5 wins because the Pirates aren't very good, except for when they're playing the Phillies. But Paul Skeens is the best pitcher in baseball. So it's going to be hard for anybody to take the crown away from that guy as long as he keeps performing the way that he does. But Ranger is going to climb right back into that argument if he continues to perform like this. He is a stud right now. He's back to being the Ranger Suarez that we know and love. 5-1 on the season. Right now, rocking a 1.16 ERA. 44 strikeouts on the season. What more could we ask? I don't know. Continue to be this guy. Continue to come out and be that guy that when he gets that ground ball hit right to him, he does the lazy old throw over to first because he knows he's a stud. He does. He does it with humbleness, except for when he does that little throw over, which I love. So, Ranger, continue to be Ranger. And the Phillies are going to be all right. Wheels, I think Mick Abel should stay in the rotation. I know he had a little bit of a struggle the other day, but not a big one. I think if he continues to take steps forward, leave him in the rotation, let Aaron Nola just continue to take the season to figure himself out. Just let him continue to ride the IL. I saw that his IL did extend the other day for another issue that popped up, but let those issues keep popping up. Right now, I think it just continues to be an ego strain. And until he figures himself out, let Nola ride that bench. So, Wheels, Abel, Ranger, Christopher Sanchez. Not really worried about who else comes behind that. I like the rotation. If these guys stay consistent, again, I'm going to get a shirt just like this one that says consistency in Phillies wording and coloring, because that's what we need out of this team. Just consistency, guys. And I think that this team, again, is poised for a huge World Series run. Bryce Harper is on the path to getting right. Saw him taking some balls before the game the other day. I know they're going to take their time with this. Otto Kempt is a very good replacement. Very good. I will make the argument that he stays up here and stays a part of this team. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you split the rotation, repetitions, the games, the days. I don't know how you do all of that. But if they can figure out how to keep Otto Kempt up here, I like me Otto Kempt. He's doing very good at third base. His hitting is coming along. He's starting to find himself there. So I like it. Let Harper get that elbow right. I know it's been bothering him for the past season and a half, so let's let him get that elbow right. Taking that ball to it wasn't very good. JT took a similar shot in the arm yesterday. It was just a little bit different of a spot, but a very similar spot. So, again, if this team can continue to right the ship and stay consistent, got to get the lead back in the division. Now 3 games back behind the Mets, but we're coming. We are coming up on those Mets. I know once we finish this series with the Blue Jays, we're going to get the Marlins coming up next, and then we will get to the Mets, and that is going to be our chance. If we can at least take, 2-3 games from the Marlins, we're hoping for a sweep. Obviously, we're hoping for a sweep. We take 2 or 3 from the Marlins, and then we go take 2 or sweep the Mets. We got the division back. And then we got to just continue to grind to keep that division lead. We got to stay up there. Like I said, we got to stay up there to get a high berth. And I'm fully confident that these Philadelphia Phillies can go to the World Series this year. Tell me otherwise. Moving along in the show, we're going to jump into the next topic today, which is going to be a little bit of OTAs, a little bit of minicamp, a little bit of football news. We'll talk first about our old Pittsburgh Steelers, who, when we last kind of spoke, we spoke about the arrival of Aaron Rodgers, and we knew it was coming. We knew that he was dealing with some stuff. Mike Tomlin, he knew that he just wanted to give him time to do what he needed to do, and that Aaron Rodgers was going to be a part of this team. And what a beginning to the OTAs and the minicamps for this team. Everybody's looking good. The edge rushers out there working. They're looking solid. They're looking scary. We got Aaron Rodgers out there throwing the ball. Like the old Aaron Rodgers. He is slinging it. Does he move like a 20-year-old Aaron Rodgers? No. But we're not asking him to move like a 20-year-old Aaron Rodgers. I'm asking him to go out there and be 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who's got a high football IQ and is going to make the right football plays, which is what Mike Tomlin preaches all the time. Doing the right things right. You know what I mean? And it's doing the little things. when you're playing the right plays right, that's what's important. You know what I mean? When he rolls out and he's scanning the field, and we saw this last season so many times, so many times where Pat would be wide open or this guy would be wide open, and they're just, hey, I'm here, but we didn't give Fields enough of a chance. But Fields couldn't find him. Russell Wilson couldn't find him. Kenny Pickett couldn't find him. It's been tough sledding since good old Ben Roethlisberger left the team. It's been tough sledding. But I'll tell you what, I like the future of the quarterback position here in Pittsburgh. I know it's been talked about a lot. I know there's been back and forths of how people feel. They went in the draft, should have got Shador, should have done this, should have done that. I actually like the direction. You know what? The pick of Will Howard, I love it. I see some of these throws in OTAs and camp. I'm excited. You know what? I think if he continues to take the right steps forward, he learns behind Aaron Rodgers, he learns behind Mason Rudolph. You know what? Guys, I think that our QB situation is not as terrible as it seems to people. I think we're in good shape here. Aaron Rodgers leads this team for the next, let's say, season, maybe two, maybe. If this season goes how it's shaping up to go, just watch. Just hop on any socials and watch some of these throws between Rodgers and DK and see the amazing connection just being formed. Guys, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. Calvin Austin has been taking amazing leaps forward. I'm so excited for that. You know, he's been talked about as the number 2 possibility here. And if he continues to take the steps forward that he's taking in camp, why not? Why is he not number 2? Little small, but think about the huge change from him to DK. That's such a crazy 1 and 2 difference. You got a huge dude who is also fast and physical on this side. But then over here, you got this little but fast and skilled guy. So, I mean, you got the vet behind him, Robert Woods. I think the wide receiver room is looking good. I know there's a lot of talk about them looking for another one. Keenan Allen shut it down hard. There was a lot of talk about Keenan Allen maybe coming here to Pittsburgh. He shuts it down hard, saying, at least a little bit respectfully, saying, great team, but no. And that's fine. If this was, I'm going to say 3-4 seasons ago, yes, I would have said Keenan Allen, Pittsburgh, absolutely get him here, because that guy was one of the only reason that the Chargers were going anywhere during those seasons. He's been an amazing receiver, a little bit of an old guy now, a bit of a vet now, but I think it would have been cool for us to get Cooper Kupp. That didn't happen. But again, I like our situation. I'm not mad with where the QB room is right now, or the wide receiver room. Well, both rooms for that matter. I like both rooms now. I know both rooms have been talked about so much this offseason, and we needed to know what they were going to look like heading into the season. And if this is what they look like heading into the season, let's get to training camp. We got a little while. They get a little bit of a month off here, but come on, let's get to training camp. Let's get to preseason. I'm ready for football. I'm ready to see these guys in action. Broderick Jones showed up looking like a stud, slimmed down, looking like a champ. The offensive line, I think they're going to be scary. If these guys put it together and they stay right, guys, I don't know why everybody's counting out Pittsburgh so much. I don't get it. I don't understand it. The defensive side of the ball is going to be scary. It's going to be scary. I know there's a lot of talk about TJ Watt. He's holding out. He wants a, nice contract, just like some of these other edge rushers are getting. I think we'll get there. Don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, I'm a little on the edge of my seat also, but don't worry. Don't worry. Tomlin said the other day, it's going to get done. We believe in Coach Tomlin. We'll believe that TJ Watt is a Pittsburgh Steeler till the day he retires. I just don't see him going anywhere. So the defense is going to be great, guys. I mean, the defense is going to be absolutely scary. It's going to be absolutely scary. Our new D lineman, Derek Harmon, looking just scary in some of these drills. It's going to be a fun season in Pittsburgh. Guys, it's going to be a fun season. And whether you're going to tell me that we're going to be tops of the division or not, I think we're going to be up there. You can't change my mind on that. You can't. I don't care if Rodgers is the third best, fourth best quarterback in his division. I don't care if he's top 10 quarterback or not. I care that he comes out and is the 40-year-old, high IQ, still got a cannon for an arm, Aaron Rodgers, the bad man. That's all I'm expecting. That's all I'm expecting. We're going to talk real quick here before we move on to some other teams. 3 guys that are also just jumping out. We talked about Broderick Jones. We talked about Derek Harmon. Both these guys jumping off the page. But the last guy I want to just address real quick, because I did address him before, and I think that if he takes leaps forward, is Darnell Washington. And what a day in camp he had the other day. The best day in camp I think he's ever had. His best practice since becoming a Steeler. I heard some reports that he dominated. Like he was just all over the field, making catches. He's talking about transitioning into a more of a receiving tight end, which I said on the show earlier that this guy is the answer to the second to Pat Freiermuth. If these two guys lock in, our tight end position is locked in for years to come. Got the new Heath Miller. Darnell Washington is just a big, tough guy who I think could go out there and throw mean blocks. But if he continues to ramp up his passing game like this, he's going to turn himself into an elite target, especially in the red zone. Do you want to go up against like a 6'8", 250 tight end? No. So this guy, I'm excited. If he continues to take these steps forward that he's taking in camp, again, I think the Steelers are Super Bowl bound, guys. If we just continue to take these steps forward, count us out all you want. But when Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers are holding up that Lombardi, we'll be laughing. We're going to tickle our way around some other teams whose camps are just a little bit interesting to me. Honestly, the Browns situation, I think, is a little fascinating because of the QB room. You got Joe Flacco. You got Dylan Gabriel. You got Shedeur Sanders. You got Deshaun Watson. It's quite a room. I would maybe pay money to sit in on that room, because I feel like if you just let those guys go at it, boy, that must be an interesting back and forth. Sanders is impressing. He's hitting some throws. He's looking good. Does he make the team? I think he does. Honestly, I think he does. Whether he honestly looks like NFL ready or not, I think he makes the team irregardless. They took the chance on drafting him. I don't think they're going to cut him. I think in the end, our buddy, old Joe Flacco, is going to start for this team. I think when the season begins for the Cleveland Browns, you're going to see Joe Flacco. And he had an awesome quote the other day where they were talking about these kids who, they're out here for an hour and a half for this long, and they're complaining about this and that. And he's like, man, I've like, when I was back in the day, we were doing this for like multiple hours at maximum every day. And these kids have no idea. And he said, I don't want to go back to that, but I'm just saying it is beneficial to, when you're out there for the maximum amount of time, really soaking in as much as you can rather than, the minimum amount of time. I understand the preserving of the bodies and everything, but the season hasn't started yet. This is the time to be grinding. This is the time to be getting the body ready for the season, the mind ready for the season by practicing. You know what I mean? By really grinding away so that you know how everybody's going to move together, how, everything's going to work together. This QB room needs to be figured out. But guys, I think I love me some Joe Flacco now. Obviously, we got a good old rivalry from our years from his years in Baltimore. But he hits a sweet quote the other day where they're talking about, social media posting and, guys are doing that, and that's a job in itself. And he tries to show people this and that, but that's not his job, man. His job's to be a quarterback. And he said, he's only created an Instagram, and that's the only thing he's ever logged into. And I think that that's hilarious. And, he's talking about, his daughter and some others filming dances and stuff and posting it, and he's like, and I don't do this stuff. You just be a grown-up. Just be a grown-up. Which I think is great. I think it's hilarious for some of these guys who, your job right now is to be an NFL player and lead these teams to greatness. Your job is not to do all of the other shenanigans. There's time and a place for the shenanigans, but man, it's time to be a grown-up. Lead your teams to greatness. And then you'll have lots of time for the dancing and the silliness. The other stud who is blowing everybody out of the water, obviously Travis Hunter. And there's some talk about if he's going to play 100% of the snaps for the Jaguars this season. When he was in college, this guy's motor, he got through 1,460 snaps on both sides of the ball in his last season at Colorado. That's insane. I don't think that that's something he can do in the NFL, though. These guys are going to hit a little harder. They're going to put you through the paces a little more. So I think that he does not play that many snaps. But I do think he plays on both sides of the ball. And this is going to be exciting to see. We saw his highlight the other day of making a very sweet interception while playing DB. So I think he does touch both sides of the ball. Does he lead the Jaguars to greatness? Only time will tell. They've invested a lot in Trevor Lawrence. They're investing a lot into this kid, Travis Hunter. If they continue to put some pieces around them, they maybe work on that defense a little bit. I don't see why not the Jaguars. The Jaguars are always, for some reason, like a sneaky team. I remember multiple seasons as a Steelers fan where we're divisional title game or AFC championship game, and I'm like, why are we playing the Jags and why are we losing? So they're a sneaky team. They're always really terrible, and then they sneak up on you. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on there. We will. A couple of contract holdouts. I know we talked a little bit about TJ. He's holding out, but I believe that he will get it done. I believe it. He wants bigger money. He deserves it. Who's going to say that he does not? Who is going to sit here and tell you that TJ Watt does not deserve top-of-the-line edge rusher money? Because he absolutely does. Been the leader in sacks multiple seasons. He has been gypped on Defensive Player of the Year a couple of times when he should have been Defensive Player of the Year. I know Myles Garrett is a great player, but I'm sorry. He's not as great as TJ Watt. Close 1 and 2, maybe 1A, 1B, but he deserves a major payday. He does. Trey Hendrickson, that's another edge rusher. He's on the Bengals. He's holding out. He wants bigger money too. This is another guy who has been a force on the Cincinnati side of the ball for a long time. We've dealt with this guy for a while. So he deserves his money also. I mean, he led the NFL last season, 17.5 sacks. So another guy who's up there on the board, but he's looking for money. And unfortunately, the Bengals just aren't known for giving out big money. I know that they've taken care of a couple guys now, but Hendrickson needs to be one of the guys that gets taken care of, or hey, he's got to go find a new home. He's got to. Terry McLaurin, that's another one for the Commanders. His name was thrown around as a name that could come to Pittsburgh. And you know what? Hey, as the old vet in the room, that would be really fun. But I think we're good. I think that Robert Woods is our old vet in the room. If we would give him a decent-sized contract that he would take, I would say do it. But I think we have our vet. There's no reason for that to go do any of that. The other big Bengal talked about is Shamir Stewart, the 17th overall pick in the draft, who left camp the last day. He feels that the team is just not doing what they should be doing with their contracts. And that's another guy who's, he's not fully wrong. You know, the Bengals aren't known for taking care of their guys very well in contracts. They took care of a couple of their stars. They found a way to pay a bunch of them, but they're not really known for doing that. They're just not. The last guy is Jalen Ramsey, and he's a vet corner, but we'll see what happens there. I'm sure he'll be on a team to start the season. Maybe something gets figured out with the Dolphins. Honestly, who knows? We'll see when that happens. But, you know, the NFL season is heating up. We're going to continue to dive more and more and more into the football news and the football realm as the season continues to pick up. It might cool off the next few weeks because everybody's, taking a break till training camp begins. Once training camp begins mid-July, it's going to get crazy. So everybody get ready, get those jerseys out, dust it off, ready to sport them, get everything out, paint ready, tailgates ready. The NFL season is almost upon us. Next up on the show, we're going to jump into our next topic here. The topic that I've been so excited to start. I am just over the moon to introduce the Ocho Corner. This is going to be a new segment every week on the show where we are going to dive into ESPN the Ocho, which is full of just wacky, unconventional, unpopular, sometimes a little hilarious, but most of the time, amazing sports that I feel should get more coverage than they do. So since they don't, we're going to do it. We're going to do it right here on the show. We're going to pick one sport every week. We're going to highlight them. We're going to talk about some of them players. We're going to just see, why it should be more popular and whether or not I think you should go try it. Our first sport that we're going to cover here in the Ocho Corner is one that I just stumbled upon. It's called VIII Sports. And this is a sport where everybody can compete. Everybody. I'm signing up for this, guys. I'm doing it. This is a race against the clock for the most points in 8 different sports. You play golf, softball, tennis, basketball, football, soccer, a little bit of strength stuff, and then a little bit of speed stuff. And this is going to be a fun time, I think, for anybody. I was watching this the other day, and, there was people of all ages from 20 to 60. I don't see why more people are not signing up to do this. This is amazing. The rules of the game is that the goal here is to score as many points as possible in the fastest amount of time. Kind of like a relay style. There's 50 points possible, 6 points for each of the sports, 2 bonus points for speed. Your competitors get ranked, and then we get a fastest time, breaks the tiebreaker if we have any points. The general rules in the game here: you got to make an attempt at every ball before moving on to the next one. You can only make one attempt at each ball. Your attempts have to be in order from the closest ball to the next ball. If there's any attempts made from behind the shot's boundary, it doesn't count. So you shouldn't touch the boundaries, shouldn't be anywhere around there. If you do, you don't get any points, the ball doesn't count. To start it, you get 3 shots in golf. Once the whistle blows, you got to run off. You got to try to land 3 balls in a little kind of like green zone. Well, we'll call it like a green zone. It's around a tee. You get up at softball. Now for the men, you have to hit 3 home runs. For the women, you have to hit the ball to the gate. It has to hit the fence. It has to either roll up and hit it or hit it in some way, shape, or form. It's got to stay in the area also for it to count. Then you go over to tennis, which is a little bit of a bumpy, sport for some of us. But, especially when you got to target a shot. Because a lot of us, when we're playing tennis, we're just hitting. But this one, you got to slap it into the little target zone. There's 3 different levels there. You got to slap it into each one. After that one, you move on over to basketball. 3 shots, basically kind of like a really close up, a foul shot of 3. You got to hit shots, collect the points. You move on to football, same thing, 3 levels, hit them, move back. Soccer, same thing, 3 levels, except, boom, boom, boom. Strength. Now, the strength one's a little interesting. The strength one, you got to get up into that area, and then you got to pick up a big old medicine ball and heave it across the line. You can't touch your boundary with your foot or anything, and the ball's got to clear that line. You got to toss it across, and then you sprint to the finish. And if you're out there watching this, if you're out there listening to this, go sign up so that you can join me next season. And let's turn V Sports into a ginormous sport, because I'm signing up, guys. I missed the signups this year. I was just too late. The first thing going on is June 30th. I know that date hasn't happened yet, but the signups are already full. I tried to go through the website and the page, and it won't let me go through the one thing. So I am exhilarated for this, guys. I think that more of us should be doing this. I don't know why there are not more of us doing this. We're going to go right here, meet our 2024 national champions, who are, here we go. It's taking me to some stupid page. I don't know why. I don't want to get their names wrong here. So the YMCA is the main runner of this program. I don't believe you have to be a member of the YMCA to participate in this either. I'm sure it's a little bit easier, but I'm not a member of the YMCA. I signed up. I'm on the newsletter. It said I'm in. I'm sad I missed the season. But a bunch of different sponsors. The 2024 national champions are a woman by the name of Rachel Arunda and a gentleman by the name of Scott Hill. And I watched their performances, and it was exhilarating. Scott Hill dethroned a 48-year-old financial advisor who's been the champion for the past few years. And I am, again, I am exhilarated for this sport. I don't know why it's not more covered. I think all of us need to sign up. Like I said, get on the list, vsports.com. You can watch it on YouTube. Look them up, V Sports, VIII Sports. Guys, join me. join me in watching this. You can watch it on the Ocho, which is on the Roku channel. It's for free. You just, whether you have a Roku stick, a Roku TV, a Roku whatever, yeah, I'm sure it has free Roku TV on it somewhere. But you find those channels, man. You find ESPN, the VIII, the Ocho, and dive in and watch some of these wacky sports with me. Next week on the Ocho Corner, we're going to highlight a sport that reminds me a little bit of basketball, if you've ever seen that movie. And if you haven't, please go do. Children, get your parents' get your parents' permission before you go watch that. But that is our first sport covered here. Little bit of a light start, just because there's not too much to say about it. It's only been around for a handful of years now. But I think that all of us need to sign up and turn this into a ginormous sport, because it's something that we can all do. Think about it. All of us sports fanatics, we can do a little bit of all of it, can't we? We can do a little bit of it all. We can hit a little bit of golf. We can pop a couple dingers. We can sink a couple buckets. Drain a couple of NFL throws. Come on. So sign up. Get on that list. I want to see a bunch of you out there with me next year. And I want to hear that you came from the show. I want to hear that I was the reason that you decided to join V Sports. Just to tap into just a little bit of other news, we're going to just tap a little bit into some other sports news before we wrap up the show. An ongoing subject that we've been going through on the show is the WNBA. And whether you're really interested in it or not, I am. Because again, sports fanatic, I love sports, but I have daughters, so I love to see women's sports continuing to get more prominent, continuing to get more women who are dominant and are really good role models for girls to look up to, because I think that girls need that. The past however many years of girls only having role models that are, it's going to sound however you want it to sound, who are just like dress sloppy or talk like trash or act like this or talk like that. I think it's good for little girls and girls to have role models like this to look up to. And I'm not just saying it because I love sports and because that I think sports are a really good way to build character and, you know, really good way to humble a lot of us and teach teamwork and being around others and learning to adapt to other people. And I just, you know what I mean? So I love seeing women's sports continuing to grow and be more prominent. None more, than the WNBA, which we've talked about a bunch of times on the show. And I know we talked before about Caitlin Clark getting injured and how that was going to hurt the WNBA for the 7 or 8 games that she missed. And boy, did it. The WNBA ratings in her absence dropped 55 to 60%. That's terrible. So to the owner to the commish who is just talking about how she's the reason that the WNBA is becoming so great, you just got humbled really hard. Because you're not the reason. And while Angel Reese is an interesting story, and we'll get to something about her in just a minute here, this just proved that we're checking in to watch CC. The numbers with her injury returned to the numbers that the WNBA was looking at pre-CC. And that's so weird that you can say that a league has one player in it where you can say before her, after her. And you can literally see the ratings are so, she's the stud. She's the star of this show. And, while there are other great girls who are starting to build names for themselves, and I hope they continue to do that, and I hope they continue to get more prominent, right now, she's the all-star. She's it. She returns yesterday in a huge way. She returns and leads her Fever team to a absolute dominant win over the New York Liberty, who were undefeated. And she comes out with 32 points, 8 boards, 9 assists, 7 threes. She sank 3 buckets in the span of 38 seconds. 3 threes in 38 seconds. Dropped a barrage of threes on the Liberty to get the game tied up. And then leads them down for a victory. What a way to come back. And what a statement. What a way to come out and say, hey, I'm Caitlin Clark. Like, I own this league. I own it. Like, you girls are great, and I'm so glad that you're all here, but I own this league. Now, if this team could just come together and they could figure it out, they got to become champions. There's so many other complete teams right now. The Lynx, who just had a dominant victory the other night. These teams are 9-1. I mean, the Fever are getting there, but they're not quite there yet. So, I mean, it's a fun time for the WNBA. Now, I do think, I got to say real quick, because I did just say this, though. But you got the Lynx and the Liberty, 10-1 and 9-1 now for the Liberty. You got all these other teams that are just lighting it up. The Fever are only 5-5. Maybe Caitlin can lead them into the playoffs and some magic can happen. That's the best thing about sports. You just got to get yourself to the dance. Once you get to the dance, anything is possible because momentum is such a big thing. If you get the momentum at the right time, honestly, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are. If all the momentum's on your side and you're riding that wave, sometimes teams like that become unstoppable. Sometimes that's just how it goes. That's why I feel like, the Pacers in the finals, and we'll get to that shortly, they were riding that wave of momentum, and if they can continue to ride it, they're going to be champions. Angel Reese, I wanted to just say this the other day, just because they had a tough loss. Reese performed. She got 17 points. She had 11 boards, but her team got owned by the Liberty. And after the game, she's doing the press conference and she's crying a little bit, getting a little teary-eyed, talking about how she doesn't really worry about, what goes on online and all the critics, and how she gets a lot of love in person and there's not really ever negative encounters with people in person. And that's because people hide behind their keyboards. There aren't very many people who are going to confront you face to face and tell you that you're terrible or you're this or you're that. There aren't very many people who are going to say that to you. Trust me, there are a couple of obnoxious people who will just blatantly shout it right in your face and all that stuff. But most people are keyboard warriors nowadays. They're going to hide behind their keyboard and they're going to tell you how bad you are when they don't have to do it face to face. And then her teammate just jumps right up and starts to just go into a long defense about, how the amount of crap that this girl takes, and she still shows up to play the game, and she's a 23-year-old kid, and she's got a heavy crown, and this and that. I'm sorry, but you could say all that if you guys were winning, but she's not carrying the team to wins. They're terrible. They have 2 wins on the season. They're awful. They started the season by getting smoked by the Fever. Then they get smoked by the Liberty. Smoked by the Sparks. A close game with the Mercury. They finally get a win over the Wings. 2 straight wins over the Wings, who are in themselves trying to get Paige Buchers healthy and in a good role on the team, but they're terrible. Then they continue to get smoked. Smoked by the Fever, smoked by the Liberty, smoked by the Dream. They're not good. And she's not, like, her stats are not blowing anybody out of the water. She's not leading the league in anything. She's not by any means dominating the WNBA. So for anybody to pound the anything and say this or that, you know what I mean? She's averaging 10 points. She's averaging 11 boards, which is good. She's averaging a double-double. But her team's terrible. Her team is just terrible. It's just not good. And again, I think if they want to be realistic with themselves, you got to lean into Caitlin Clark for the WNBA to continue to grow. And hopefully her team continues to grow too. And they'll become champions, multiple-time champions, and she can silence all of the critics who say it's not her. Moving right into other female sports news, which we're going to go into this a little bit, maybe each week until the season ends, just because, again, I think it's real fascinating, is the AUSL, which is the Athletics Unlimited Softball League, which is, professional women's softball. I was watching highlights and stuff before the show started. Boy, this is exhilarating watching some of these girls make plays. Watched a girl, I got to learn their names, so, we'll get there. But I watched a very talented young lady on the vaults make a sweet double play. Ball smoked right to her, catches that thing like right behind her back, runs right over to first. Player doesn't even have a chance. What a play. You get to watch Sierra. I can't fully remember her last name. Sierra S. We'll call her that. She hit the first home run in the history of the league for the Talons. And then, obviously there's been a bunch more players popping off dingers. But right now, we got the Bandits leading, since there's only 4 teams in the league right now, as it is a new league and will be growing. But right now, the Bandits are leading. They got a 5-1 record. Talons got a 3-2. Volts 2-4. Blaze 1-4. It's too early to tell what any of these franchises are going to look like. Obviously, this is just a new league, so all these players are getting their feet wet. All these women are learning each other, and as they see each other more, some of these things will change, and they'll adapt. It'll become like professional sports do. You learn and adapt. Right now, the Blazes, Kinglinger is leading in the average. She's batting a .579. What a stud. And she's got 20 ABs, so she is no slouch. Got a home run in there too. The Volts and the Bandits have a bunch of players up here in the lead, and I think that, again, this is going to be exciting stuff. We got, for the Talons, there's a pitcher right now with a 2-0 record who has a 0 ERA. 0. She's only pitched 4 innings, but 2 strikeouts. No runs allowed so far in her games, and she's coming out and performing. So, I'm excited for this league to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to cover it more and more as I dive more into it. Like I said, I've dabbled more and more. I'm watching more highlights. It's hard to find some full games, so I got to find some more footage of full games, but can find some of these games on the deep ESPNs, ESPN Plus, sometimes ESPN2, but you got to dig a little deep. It's almost like the ESPN 8 the Ocho. You got to dig a little bit to find these. You got to dig into the ESPN or sports archives if you want to find these ones. Real quick, spring football's ended. The UFL championship game, the DC Defenders absolutely murdered the Panthers 58-34. Dominating performance by them. I don't know anything about this football league, guys. I really don't. I've seen a couple of games here and there. I've seen a few highlights here and there. I've known players have jumped back and forth between the leagues, but I haven't watched a lot of spring football, honestly. I'm way too wrapped up in baseball at this time. So, yeah, especially with the playoffs of the other sports going on too, there honestly is just not a lot of time to be able to pay attention to the UFL because I'm way too invested in the other sports going on around that time. So if you are awesome DC Defenders fans, congratulations. They get the championship. We'll see what the next season brings for the UFL. Before we wrap up the show, we're going to dive into the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. But first, the NBA Finals. Pacers and the Thunder currently tied 2-2. And my prediction is looking good and scary. I mean, series tied 2-2. I would have liked them to take that 3-1 lead, but the Thunder clapped back. They let the Thunder be heard, and the Pacers fell short. Halliburton, I said this before, has shown that he is a superstar, and he's got superstar traits and superstar quality, but he's got to continue. He's got to score more points, man. He's got to be more efficient early in the game and help his team more often and early. But series tied 2-2. We'll see what happens in Game 5. My prediction is looking a little bit. But what a great NBA Finals, honestly. Two teams slugging it out. Everybody thought that the Thunder was just going to smoke the Pacers 4-0. I don't think so. Like I said, the Pacers are riding a hot wave of momentum, and they were just riding that all the way through the playoffs. And here they are, so close. 2 wins away. 2 wins away from making my prediction right and from giving Indiana their first NBA title. What a series, though. What a series, though. Then we come to what may be the best Stanley Cup Finals ever? Maybe? Give me comments and tell me other series that have been this good. This series is amazing. The Panthers now lead 3-2 after yesterday's 5-2 win. And that was really the only game that was like a shutout other than Game 3 where the Panthers absolutely lit it up. But I mean, what a series these guys are having. Brad Marchand comes over from the Bruins, and he is just having an amazing performance. Just an amazing one. In this Game 5, he scores 2 goals to get them to this 5-2 victory. And they were 2 impressive goals. I mean, he danced around the one guy. He danced through 2 defenders on the other one. This guy's proven that he can do anything that you ask him to do, no matter how old he gets out there on the ice. This game comes back to Florida for Game 6, and my prediction is not looking very good. Not looking very good at all. 2 really amazing OT thriller games in Game 2 and Game 4, and each team do wielded a win, but it's not looking very good right now. It's really not. I'm nervous. The Oilers need to find a way to win in Florida. They got to find a way. Connor McDavid, you got to get the boys there, man. You got them. My prediction's not looking good. It's been an amazing series. Don't get me wrong. These guys are out there just absolutely performing. They're giving it their all. It's been an amazing series. Like I said, maybe the best Stanley Cup series in the history of the NHL. But I want to see the Oilers win. I want to see them get their Stanley Cup. I want to see it. So they need to find a way. Dig deep, boys. Rattle off 2 straight and become Stanley Cup champions. That'll do it for this week's episode of the podcast. Guys, it's an amazing time to be a sports fan, to be a sports fanatic. I love sports, and they are popping off in all kinds of directions. Women's sports are getting more and more popular professionally. College ones are playing amazing series that are just leaving their marks. There's great things going on in sports. The NBA Finals amazing. The Stanley Cup Finals amazing. Our baseball season is getting heated up and interesting. Multiple teams coming out of the woodwork to just make it more and more interesting. OTAs, exciting, getting us all ready for the football season. We got a couple weeks off, but man, what an amazing time to just be in and around sports. So continue to dive in with me. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. Leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss any of my episodes. Make sure you leave a comment so that I get to know your opinion and you get to tell me whether I'm a real fanatic or I'm just plain crazy. See you next time.